Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, this is an interesting topic that came up as a part of our live stream, and I definitely want to discuss this. It's really what path Gervonta Davis is going to go down after a performance that I would probably deem disappointing. Not probably, I deem personally disappointing. Not to take anything away from Lamont Roach, we were on record stating that this was going to be a much tougher fight than anyone expected. Many people just simply did not understand the sport of boxing and did not understand exactly what Gervonta Davis had in front of him, across the ring from him, however you want to call it. But a lot of people are calling for him to fight Lamont Roach next, that he needs to go directly into a rematch with Roach. Now, he did mention that he would be interested in a Roach rematch, that they need to run it back. However, during the presser, he stated that Lamont Roach won't be next, maybe in 2026. Jay, I think I have a different opinion than yours, but we'll hear what you have to say here as well. I personally think that Gervonta Davis should focus his attention on Shakur Stevenson and Shakur Stevenson only. I think if he goes into the ring and he's successful against Shakur Stevenson, I think he erases all the sins associated with Lamont Roach. Not only that, I think that it's a different set of tools that Shakur Stevenson is going to bring to the ring. I think those tools are going to be somewhat equally potent in regards to his overall defensive capabilities and Gervonta Davis's ability to crack that code in terms of being able to land. But he also doesn't bring that stay in the pocket counterpunching style, which is going to allow Gervonta Davis to be a little bit freer in a match. And I would focus on fighting Lamont Roach probably in 2026 if I truly feel like I need to get my get back. But I think you, by the way that you're shaking your head, you see it differently. What's your thoughts on that?
That'd be the only exception if you were to get that Shakur fight. That's the only fight other than Lamont Roach. I would prefer a Lamont Roach fight right away to erase everything going on right now and to prove that he just had an off night. Lamont Roach, salute. Hell of a fight. Game plan, tough dude. We said it before, it was going to be a tough fight. We said it as soon as almost when the fight got made, we're like, oh, that's going to be an interesting fight. Lamont Roach is a tough kid, and then more we got close to the fight, it's going to be a tough fight. It was a tough fight. Whether you thought Tank won, lost, draw, whatever, it was a close fight. I would want the rematch just because right now it's still hot. Also, with Shakur, we know Shakur just came off a fight where he hurt both his hands. I don't want that to be used as an excuse if they were to fight September that his hands weren't 100% ready, because Shakur said he can only fight 2 times a year, basically. So I mean, how long you want to take to wait for him to be able to be ready to fight? So Shakur still needs time, in my opinion. I don't think he's ready for that. I'd rather him get Lamont back, beat Lamont, then fight Shakur. That's the path I would want to take, because if he never fights Lamont Roach, that fight is not going to be just forgotten or erased, because that's the fight people can always point to and say that, oh man, he didn't rematch because he was scared. He didn't rematch because he can't beat him. Same thing with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury when they had that draw. We want the rematch like immediately, and Tyson Fury like, you know what? Not yet. I'm gonna go back around and go somewhere. If that's what you talk about he should do, that's fine. Unless you pick someone, Shakur is the only fight I wouldn't focus everything on Shakur, because like I said, he has hand injuries from his last fight. He was showing ice in both hands, saying that he hurt him, wincing in pain. That's not going to bode for a good fight with Tank.
What's the benefit of actually going back to a Lamont Roach fight right now? There is none. He goes back and he beats Lamont Roach. Everybody's going to say that's what you should. They're going to say that's what you should have done, and it's not going to be a big event, and it may be a slightly bigger event, but
it's a big event.
It's not going to be that big.
Fans were mad about the result, and fans were like, "What? They're gonna pack us." They're gonna be like, "Okay, was Tank off, or was just Lamont just got his number?" I think it just as well.
There's no benefit in fighting Lamont Roach. You will not get any. Tank is going to be criticized regardless of if he beats Lamont Roach or not. So there is no benefit in going back and fighting Lamont Roach. If you go and beat the guy that everybody's saying that you can't beat, the guy with the name recognition, I don't care what happened in the Lamont Roach fight. People are going to be pointing to that. That's what they're going to be pointing to. Lamont Roach.
This ain't the best right now.
Who cares? Who cares? Like all that. Like so. Hold on. Nobody else cares about that shit. Nobody cares about that shit. Name a fan. Name a fighter name someone that's on their team that cares about. I need to make sure that this guy's in his best state before I fight him. Nobody cares about that. Terrence Crawford certainly hasn't.
A week later, a week later, Shakur having that injury, man, people gonna be like, "Well, Shakur really wasn't ready."
They would fight. They would fight in September. They would fight in late summer or late summer. That's when they would fight. So all that hand stuff, I'm not trying to hear that. Like, no.
Bro, he hasn't been healthy with his hands the whole time.
Who cares? So
both hands.
Why do I care as a fighter about the other fighters' ailments? Why do I care about that?
I'm not saying I didn't say Tank should care about that.
But you just said that. Oh, he needs to wait. His hands need to be healed. I don't want to. No, for what? For what?
I'm not saying Tank saying that. I'm saying that because people are going to use that as a reason, saying that Shakur.
But the people, they're going to do that. They're going to do that regardless. They're going to have an excuse regardless. So I don't care about the hands. I could care less about his hands. I could care less about his feet, his hands, his foreheads, his wrists, his knuckles. I don't care, right? Because whatever happens to Tank, they're not going to care, right? And whatever other fighter that they have an affinity to or a dislike for, they're not going to care. So for me, go ahead and go down that path, because regardless, they're going to have something to say, but it's going to be a big money fight, much bigger than the Lamont Roach fight. And you're going to be in a situation where you said you took out one of the big guns at 135 pounds. That's all I care about.
I just don't think Kerr will be available for that fight right now.
Then why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be?
Exhibit A, Exhibit B.
Well, that's his issue. That's his issue. And then you got to start pointing to, we don't want to hear this about he's not fighting Shakur Stevenson, People can't work around his brittleness in terms of his hands. You cannot do that. And that's what he should be pushing for.
Tank can do both this year. He has time, because Tank was talking about having 3 fights this year. He can rematch Lamont and then fight Shakur at the end. That way Shakur has time, because Shakur ain't gonna have another fight.
Name one top fighter that fights 3 times a year, dog.
What?
Name one top fighter that fights 3 times a year. Name one top fighter that fights 3 times a year.
This is what Tank was talking about.
I don't care. Tank is mercurial. Tank is mercurial and will say a lot of different things. I ask you this: when has Tank ever fought 3 times in a year?
He hasn't, but I'm going by what he said.
Hey man,
remember, if he's still trying to get out and retire, this is what he said.
He's not going to fight 3 times this year. He's going to fight twice. He's going to fight 2 times this year. You need to make it Shakur Stevenson. I do not want to see a rematch with Lamont Roach and then Shakur Stevenson in 2026. I have no interest in that, because even if he goes and he beats Lamont Roach, people are still going to be pointing to that first Lamont Roach fight. But if you go take Shakur Stevenson out, you took over the division, period.
They're gonna always remember that Lamont fight if it's not revisited.
I don't give a damn. You still took over the division. You guys let us know what you think in the comment section in regards to this. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.